Hi there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. Welcome on in for Facebook Live. It's our weekly Facebook Live, Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. And gosh, today's the 14th of May. That's crazy. But here we are. So, very happy to have you here with me today. I'll move this just a tiny bit. And want to welcome you in. Like I said, my name is Carrie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Texas. And I just absolutely love sharing about paper crafting. And hope that you love paper crafting too. If you do, you're my people. We just have so much fun with paper crafting. Just adjusting one more time. Sorry about that. So I usually like to wait just a minute to see if any friends are able to hop on and be here with me live. Sometimes they can, sometimes not. But I usually have quite a few that watch the replay, and I sure do appreciate that as well. So either way, so glad to have you with me. It's a nice warm day here in Texas. I think it was supposed to get up to 100 when I looked yesterday. That's what it showed, which for May, that's a lot. I don't know that it's going to get there. I stepped outside just a few minutes ago with Oliver, and it's really pretty nice out, a little bit breezy. Hi, Debbie. Glad you're here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me get situated and make sure that I do not roll my chair on poor little Oliver. I did that the other day. So Oliver the crafty pup is here with me in the craft room. So we are going to have a little bit of fun playing today with some really pretty product. We are not going to actually make a card. We're going to talk about card design, and I have lots of tips for you, and just want to kind of show you my process when I'm looking at what colors to use with my beautiful papers, just how I come up with some of the cards that I make. And I'm going to encourage you to cut into your paper and use your paper. I'm going to show you where this gorgeous paper, this little 6x6 paper stack, I've pulled out one of each of the designs. There's 12 designs in this package, and you get 4 of each design. And it is called Beautiful Gallery. And it is absolutely lovely paper. We'll look at it all in just a moment. But I'll go ahead and show you on page 54. And you know, we've got our new beautiful annual catalog that has gone live now to customers. But this is where you'll find this paper, this suite of products. I only have a couple of the components to this suite. I didn't get the stamps or dies, not yet anyway, but I had to have the paper. I thought the paper was just phenomenal. And then I ordered the ribbon and embellishments as well. And I pulled in another ribbon I want to share with you too. So this is just a really, really pretty suite. And here in this 2-page spread in the catalog, you see all of the components. And I usually call this a mega suite when you have 2 stamp die bundles. And then if you turn the page, this is where you actually see some of the beautiful artwork, some of the projects that are created with the product. And they're just absolutely stunning. So I just love the way that Stampin' Up! Has done the artwork in this catalog. It's so inspiring to me. And I love having all the products together and then the beautiful artwork too. So this is where you'll just find some of the inspiration with the products from the company. And then let me go ahead and show you the ribbons that I've pulled out. Now this first one is, let me look. This is cloud cover ribbon, and it's not part of the suite, but each of the new in colors has a ribbon with it, a faux linen ribbon. And I'm going to bring it close so you can hopefully see it's got some texture to it, ties a really pretty little bow. This would work really well with this pack of paper because it does have cloud cover in the paper. And so I just happened to have just received these ribbons. Thought I'd show you that. This is the actual ribbon, this basic beige, that is part of the suite. And it's called a classic ribbon. It's got a smooth finish to it. Although when you look at it closely, it does have a little bit of texture to it. Again, ties beautifully. I think it's so pretty. So you could see, even just with that piece of paper, how gorgeous is that? And so simple. Now, there are also some gorgeous embellishments, and y'all are going to laugh. Look at mine. They're all over the place, y'all. This is, I think, part of living in an area that's kind of humid. These were fine when they arrived here from Stampin' Up, and they have been sitting in my basket, getting jostled around. Oops, I just lost one off my page. I was going to try to bring one a little bit closer. Hopefully you can see. They're very, very pretty. There's nothing wrong with these embellishments, and interestingly enough, even though they're moving around on this waxy card that they come on, when you put them on a project, they stick just fine, and they look like a hot mess, but it kind of makes me giggle just a little bit. I mean, what are you going to do? There's really nothing wrong with them. They just wiggled all around, and I think it's some of our humidity here. But they are so pretty. Wanted to show you those too. And we're going to dive into this paper because it's phenomenal. So let me see here how we'll do this. So here's sheet number 1. Is that just gorgeous? I would even think about putting that in a frame. It's just beautiful. I have some flowers that my grandfather, a painting that my grandfather painted for me in the kitchen, and that's really kind of what this makes me think of. Just absolutely gorgeous flowers, and it's just a very classic look. Beautiful. So actually, let me do it this way. I won't turn it over just yet. I just want to bring each of these papers in where you can get a really good look. This one is fabulous as well. So you're going to see as we go through this paper stack that so many of these papers you can just cut down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Put them on the front of a card, or you could even do 5 inches by 3 3/4 on many of them. Put them on the front of a card. Put your sentiment on, maybe a ribbon or embellishment. You don't even have to, but maybe that as well. And you just have a stunning, gorgeous card. Quick and easy. Isn't that pretty? This is one of my favorites too. I love that first one. I love all of them, but some of them just speak a little bit more to me than others. That's really, really pretty. So remember now, we are working with a 6 by 6 paper. So part of my goal today is to talk to you a little bit about how to best utilize this paper, how to end up with bigger pieces that are more manageable, more usable, and serviceable for you as you work to make them into projects as well, so that you really are able to get everything you want to out of the investment that you make in a pack of paper like this. Isn't that pretty? Do I have that sideways? That's kind of hard to tell. It's very, very pretty though. The colors are just phenomenal. Another one that I think, you know, you put that on a card front, you cut that down a bit, and we'll talk a little bit about what type of measurements I like to use with a 6 by 6 paper stack to really get a lot out of your paper. Another one that's really pretty. And they're designed where, you know, you can cut them in half, you can cut them in quarters, and still have a nice piece of designer series paper. Here's one of my favorites. Isn't that gorgeous? Very simple, but just stunning. All right, this one, I think you could go either way with that one too. Masculine card with that one, huh? This is really pretty. And then our last one, nice background there as well. So let's work our way back. Oops. And we'll take a look at the B side of them too. So you're going to notice that there's lots and lots of colors in this designer series paper. You have a lot of grays, browns, a couple of greens, Got a couple of the new in colors. So that kind of looks blue, but that's Cloud Cover, one of our new in colors. Secret Sea is also one of our new in colors. Again, you could just cut this, put this on your card base. This would make such a beautiful sympathy card, wouldn't it? Just add a sentiment, maybe a rhinestone or pearl, and just a beautiful card. So Secret Sea is in this paper. We got Calypso Coral and Peach Pie. Lots of different colors to choose from. So what I normally do when I want to sit down and design for a class is I will take a look at the back of the paper package. I'll show you that to you in just a minute. We're almost done looking at the B sides of the paper. So a lot of them have some texture to them, but much more muted than the front. So pretty though. I'm going to set that up there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my paper pack because on the back of the Stampin' Up! Designer Series papers, I'll pull that plastic down a bit. I want to make sure that you know that your colors are listed under the name of the paper. So what I'll do a lot of times when I'm designing is I will just go ahead and grab packages, all the packages of cardstock that are open that I have in these colors. Now this time it would be a lot to pull them all out. So what I did was pull just a couple pieces of DSP out and then pulled the colors. But that's how I like to design. Grab the cardstock. I already know because of our amazing color coordination from Stampin' Up! That the cardstock's going to match with the DSP. It's going to be complementary, even if it's a, a shade of the color in the DSP. It's going to work really well. And then of course my ribbon and embellishments are going to work perfectly too. So I like to look at the colors, pull the cardstocks, have everything available, and then as we work through some things today, you'll kind of see my process. I would love to know if you have some tips as well. So as we go, let me know about that. I would also love to know if you like videos like this, or if you just really like to see me make a card. Sometimes I do both, talk a little bit about the product, talk about the process, and make a card. Today I really wanted to show you several things about the process, so I didn't make a card, but I plan to make cards with the papers that we're cutting, and I'm showing you today. I may make some reels with them as well. I can also make cards next week, excuse me, on Facebook Live if you'd rather that. So vote if you want to. Let me know. Now I do have just a few pieces that I've cut into scraps. You can see a couple of them are not very big scraps. I take all my scraps and slide them right back inside my packaging, and I just keep my DSP in the packaging that it came in. This is how I keep it, so that when I pull this out, if I need a little strip for an inside panel, I want to make a card with scraps, everything's together and it all works really well for me. Just what I like to do. Okay, so the first card we're going to take a look at, we're going to use this beautiful paper, and I hope that I have this organized in such a way that it'll make sense to y'all. I think I do. So I just thought I would line this out and show you that all I did was take my 6 by 6 piece of paper and cut it down. Let me make sure. Yeah. And I think on this one I actually cut from either side. I'm not positive. Let me try to put this puzzle back together. It may not match up exactly with the actual picture of it, but you'll get the idea. I just wanted to kind of show you. Of course, I'm struggling with it. Maybe it goes this way. That's what it is, isn't it? Come on, Carrie. Yeah, that's going to work. And I have an extra piece, I think. Not sure how I did that. But what I want to point out to you is when I do cut into it, and I wanted a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of Designer Series paper to put on a card front. So that's what I ended up with. The first cut that I make is for the bigger number. So I want 5 1/4. So I cut off 3/4 of an inch. And then that way, when I cut my 4, I have the biggest piece of scrap that I can possibly get. So that's one of the tips I want to give you. We'll leave this out because we may look at this in a minute. So you go from your 6 by 6 inch piece of paper to a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of paper. And in that process, you get a couple of really usable pieces of designer series paper for your card, couple of scraps. So we'll keep those as well. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in a Secret C card base. And y'all already see where we're going with this. All we're gonna do is take this fabulous designer series paper and put it on the card front, and of course try to get our borders pretty even. I'm not going to glue anything down today. I'm just going to show you. Look at how pretty that is though. And if you add a greeting, if you add a little bit of embellishment to it, you have an absolutely stunning card. Again, this would be a beautiful sympathy card, a more feminine birthday card. I think you could use this as a thinking of you, get well. There's so many things that you could do with a card like this. But in the process of cutting to get this, we also have this piece. So it's 2 inches wide, 5 1/2 right now, or 5 1/4. No, 6. It's 6 still. So it's 2 inches by 6. We of course can trim that down. We'll have a very tiny little piece of scrap if we do that. We can use it this way on this card, or we could orient the card this way, bring it down a little bit, add a focal image, or just a sentiment. And again, you've got a really pretty card. So if you stop and think about that, you could actually even cut this into 3 2-inch strips to make 3 cards like this with the 1 piece of designer series paper. So this is what I'm talking about as far as we want to take our 6 by 6 and kind of do a little math. And if you know me, you know that's not my strong suit. It's not what I love to do, but I want to get the most I can out of my pretty papers, so I don't mind doing a little bit of math when it comes to crafty math. We'll call it crafty math. And then of course I've got little pieces that I can always add to the inside panels, to my envelope. That's why I go ahead and keep those pieces so that I can use them. So that's card number 1. Next thing I want to look at is actually this beautiful piece of paper, that very first piece of paper that I showed you from this paper stack. This is just absolutely stunning. And this is what's on the outside of the paper when you receive it. And I knew this was going to be pretty, but when I took that out of the box, I literally was like, wow. Now, admittedly, I am a paper person. Paper makes me so happy. So I love the paper. It's just beautiful. So here I went ahead, and you can see we've got, is that Secret C again? No, I've got a black. I've got black this time. That's Secret C and black. They're pretty close unless you get them right together, but isn't that pretty? That's a beautiful combination as well. So I pulled black out, and I went ahead, there's my little scrap from cutting down. On this one, you want to look at your image when you get ready to cut it, because in order to bring this 6-inch piece to 4 inches, if you cut off of one side or the other, you're going to cut into your image. So what I went ahead and did was cut maybe 1/2 inch off of this side, and then took the rest, and I think the other way around, about 1/2 inch off of this side, the rest off of this side. So about 1.5 inches off of this side. So I ended up with a piece that's 4 inches wide. And then the 5 1/4 is not as hard because you've got a little room up here, but I actually came in and just left a small amount of what I'm picturing would be that vase sitting on the table. So it kind of grounds that vase. It's not just floating there. So it's still a little bit, I would love it if you could put this whole piece of paper on a card, but that's just too big. Not the kind of cards that I make. And then what I did was go ahead and glue this down to a piece of cloud cover cardstock. So this is where I was saying, I think that cloud cover ribbon would pair really well with this as well. So I did save one of the little strips. I'm not sure what I did with the other one, but I thought this would be just lovely paired with a black card base. And let me see if I can get it lined up where you can see that border most all the way around. Just kind of see what you think. I like using the cloud cover, that mat there, that very small mat, to help make the image pop. I think that's so very pretty. Now let me just show you with the actual paper, just directly to the black cardstock. I mean, that's pretty as well. I just really liked it with the cloud cover mat. But let me show you something else. I went ahead and pulled in a white card base too. And so you see a big difference with a white card base. It brightens it up. To me, the flowers really stand out more. So let me show you. It's kind of like magic, y'all, how that changes as you bring it over to the darker base. I see more of the background, and the flowers kind of seem kind of set into the background. But when you put it on the lighter, to me, the flowers just really pop out. Let me know what you think. That's just how it works for me, how my brain sees it. But I just have fun. When I have all my cardstocks out, that's what I'll do, is take a piece and say, do I want it on this card base? Do I want to mat it? What do I want to do? Now, just for fun, I thought, let's go ahead and bring in a petal pink card base. This color is not in the paper, but Calypso Coral is, and Peach Pie is. And I really kind of think that's where the color of the flowers are coming from. They're not a stark white. There's a little bit of a, maybe a wash of color from one of those, Calypso Coral or Peach Pie. But I thought that looked pretty too. It was what I would do for card number 2. I'm going to tuck these all back together so I keep them together. And then we're going to start cutting into our paper a little bit more. Let me switch these around. I want to show you this one next. So this is a really pretty piece of paper. And I thought for this one, I could go with the grays, but I felt like I could also go with Crumb Cake and Early Espresso, which are colors that have been in the line of color family since I became a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So here, all I did was take the Designer Series paper and cut it right in half at 3 inches. So now I have those 2 3-inch by 6-inch pieces. And then, I did trim it down a little bit, didn't I? Yes, I did. So I took just a tiny bit off the top and bottom. So I ended up needing 3/4 of an inch off. So I took a little off of top and bottom. But you just center it up like you want to. And then I thought that would look pretty on a crumb cake background. And I think it does. Now, I think it would go really well on a gray background too. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. So then I went ahead and grabbed a piece of Early Espresso because I felt like that washed it out just a little bit. And because this is 3 by 5.5, I made my Early Espresso 3.5 by 5.5. And then that would just mat up on my card front like that. What do y'all think? Thought that was pretty. You could also just use an Early Espresso card base and either, you know, kind of justify that over if you wanted to, center it up, bring it over to this side. There's lots of different ways that you can utilize it. Because I've got this area, I would probably just stamp my greeting there as well. But I thought that was really pretty. And then what I didn't actually cut down, but what you could do, I guess we already did that, didn't we? We could mat it the other way around. But I didn't like that as well. And again, I think you could definitely use your grays to bring that out. I think I set my cloud cover hard base over there, but I have one here. Let me grab it. I think that would look really pretty. Not cloud cover. Secret Sea. Still learning the words. That looks very, very pretty on the Secret Sea as well, doesn't it? So I think either side of that paper, even though they're not like a mirror image, they're not exact. They're still very close. And again, this would make a nice masculine card. It would make a nice sympathy card, get well card. I think that is just another beautiful piece of paper. Okay. And I've just got one more I want to share with y'all. And now you see why I thought I would do it this way, because this is pretty much, I try to keep this Facebook Live at about 30 minutes, and it's pretty much going to take up our time, isn't it? So this one is another piece of paper that I'm just totally in love with. It is gorgeous. And the first thing I thought of is, look how pretty it is on the Secret Sea. And it is. I'll show you. Did not burnish this peach pie base. Let me do that right quick. So you can see we're going to play with these two colors. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I was going to show you how I cut the paper too. Let's do that. So another way that I like to use 6x6 is with 3x3 pieces. And then again, not 3x3, 3x4. Sorry about that. So if I cut a couple of mats, and my first mat that I'm going to use is the peach pie. I thought, ooh, that's going to look really pretty on Secret Sea. Now, I think I showed you, but I'll make sure. You could just take this designer series paper and put it directly on Secret Sea, and it's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Now, you could also put it on peach pie. It gives you a lot different look. But you could do that. I think it's beautiful that way too. Really like it on Secret Sea. But look what happens when you mat that. I may not have cut that mat exactly right. I'm not getting a little bit peeking through both sides. So let me just let's do it this way so you can at least see how pretty that is. Having that mat. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I got to thinking, if you matted it, I didn't cut anything this way, but if you matted it and put it on your peach pie with a Secret Sea mat, that would be gorgeous as well. But then, oh, I did cut a Secret Sea mat. Let's look at that again. I just have so much fun playing around. So again, you could put this right in the center of your card base if you want to. That's kind of cute too, to have that a little bit wonky. I know not all of you love wonkiness. Sometimes I do that just because I can't get it straight. All right, I think that's pretty good to show you how pretty that looks. You could certainly orient your card base this way as well. Bring that down to one corner. I like doing that where it's not all completely symmetrical. It's a great place to stamp your sentiment. Put maybe a little bit of stamping here, background stamping, a couple embellishments. That's really fun. We're going to step it up one more time, y'all. I went ahead and grabbed some Calypso Coral cardstock. And we're going to mat this with our Secret Sea, then our Calypso Coral cardstock, and see what we think. Isn't that beautiful? I really love that. Secret Sea is quickly becoming one of my favorite colors. It looks very, very pretty on here as well. I like that on there. And then, of course, we can do the same thing with our peach pie and Calypso Coral. So both of those are pretty bright colors. But I just hope that you can see how that designer series paper kind of changes. It changes the look of it, what pulls out of the paper as you matted up like that. That's really bright and fun. And a little bit more serious, I think, when you bring it over to the Secret Sea. But definitely still so very beautiful. It just really makes the green to me, greenish blue, pop out, versus when I put it on peach pie, I see much more of the florals kind of popping out. Okay, well, that is what I have for y'all today. Like I said, I'm taking a little bit of a chance, doing something a little bit different. I hope that it's something that you like. If it's not, let me know. If it's just not your cup of tea, that's fine. We'll go back to just making cards. Like I said, watch for some reels. Be glad to put some cards together next week with y'all, with these products, with the things that we cut up for today. And hope you will pull out some paper, maybe even a 6x6 paper stack, and see what you can do with it. See how you can crunch those numbers and get the most out of each piece and make some really, really pretty cards. All right, I'll see y'all next week. Thank you.